Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I the Dragon, Cool and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, Lauren Frey, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. YongYea is not a voice actor. He is a YouTuber. One of the most degenerate, the biggest grifter, like one of the biggest corporate shills I personally have ever seen in my life. I blame this guy specifically for like enabling the CD Projekt Red's based myth, like among the community for the longest time. This is the guy who was defending Death Stranding back when everybody knew it was going to be terrible. Like there were a lot of issues. I have had a lot of problems with YongYea specifically over the years. Okay, this guy is is like the absolute worst at what he does, which is covering gaming news. Now, the thing is though, YongYea does not want to be known as a gaming YouTuber. In fact, his thing for the past several years, the reason he moved to LA, the reason he's like communicating with certain people, the reason why he's tweeting about anime dubs so much, is that his goal is to be a voice actor. That's right. YongYea wants to be a celebrity voice actor. He wants to make those six figures that Helena Taylor couldn't pull with Bayonetta 3. He wants to be a celebrity. Oh, he wants to be the next Steve Bloom. He wants to be a big deal. Now the thing is though, I've seen a lot of people like try to do this. Like I've made fun of people like ProZD for like pretending that they're big successful voice actors because they have a YouTube channel. But YongYea I think is a little bit interesting in the sense where like his voice acting career, I've actually looked at it. I've actually looked at the roles he's gotten, and the only thing of note, the one thing he's brought up, the one thing everyone brings up is that he voiced Poochie uh, in JoJo's Part 6, right? That's his big career defining role, apparently, and he's not had any major ones since. That makes me think that like he got the role by doing a favor for some company who did him a solid and got him in there, got him in the booth to record his lines for like what, like a couple of weeks maybe, and then he was out and people didn't like his performance enough to bring him back for anything else. Like that is the vast majority of I think the of how most of these YouTube voice actors are going to end up is that most of them are reliant on streams and like grifting from companies in order to remain relevant. I think this is why YongYea is still making YouTube videos. It is his primary source of income, right? He's trying to put himself out there in the industry by making YouTube videos talking about like a shilling for corporations in the hopes that it's maybe going to make him a celebrity. And the thing is, it's just not going to work. Because I think the days of people being obsessed with like English dub voice actors are long gone. Because everyone hates them, nobody watches it. A big reason why I moved from dubs to subs isn't because necessarily I thought like the subs were better. It's mostly just because I realized that like the Western voice acting community is just plain toxic. I simply don't want to support the Western voice acting community because they are corrupt as fuck. They're extremely nepotistic. They're talentless frauds for the most part. Like I don't want to say like all of them are bad, but like the directors are terrible. They can't deliver lines. They completely retranslate like certain lines and like try to push political agendas on social media. Like there are a lot of problems with Western voice actors, right? And so like I migrated to like sub only for most shows. Actually, I think for all shows now because I haven't watched a dub show in so long, and I have no intention of going back. Not necessarily because I don't like dubs, because I do think dubs. There were like legitimately good dubs in the 90s with voice actors who actually tried to put in a good performance. But now you have people like trying to be celebrities, getting involved in like these ridiculous petty arguments, like these petty dramas, like making things up about each other, and like it feels like a high school in a lot of ways, and it's pathetic, and it's not something I want to see or support. So like yeah, I will just go sub only. um, so basically, what this means is that a large portion of the audience is not going to be watching the English dub. It's not just me doing this. It's a wide range of people, and as a result, even though that like YongYea got the role as like the antagonist of JoJo's, which would be a big thing for like anyone, which should be like a big role for anyone to take on. The reality of it is that like nobody's actually watching his portrayal of the character. right? People are watching like, assuming they're watching the show at all, they're watching the sub version, right? And maybe they'll do like a comparison of the other versions to compare. But like again, most people who compare the different versions are going to realize the Japanese version of this specific character is significantly better than YongYea was. So I think like YongYea just can't possibly compete. Like I don't think he's going to remain relevant in the voice acting sphere. I don't. I think a big reason why we're seeing so many so many streamers become voice actors is that like they can actually because they're based in LA, like typically they're based in like these voice acting central areas, like because they have like an alternate source of income that's viable, they can actually take like the low rates and like do episodes of like terrible shows or like terrible video games for like $50 a session or something or whatever the actual standard rate is. Like they can afford the slave wages, unlike actual valid viable talent that can actually like do some real work with the material, right? Like again, it's become this thing where it's kind of a parasocial relationship in which the companies want to severely underpay their voice talent, but like the streamers can use their attachment to these shows to kind of bolster their own careers. So we kind of have this situation where like people like Lily Pichu, ProZD, because they're attached to these brands, like these supposed big name brands, it boosts their online profiles, even if they're not actually making a whole lot of money doing these high profile games or like streams or shows or whatever, right? It gets more people watching their streams where the real money is, and so they can keep making money that way. So it's kind of a weird situation. It feels like a bunch of parasites just leeching off each other. But like I think something has to give eventually, all right? Like I think it's inevitable that a lot of these YouTubers are going to start like declining in popularity eventually. Like I don't think people are going to like continue sitting and listening to YongYea like talk about how CD Projekt Red is like the best company in the video game industry forever. In fact, I think these days he's very well known for being one of the most aggressive shills in the industry. I myself kind of refer to him that way in this video. And like when we were discussing this, when I was discussing this on V, a lot of people like agreed with me on this specific topic. But one of the things I noticed, about YongYea, and the reason I think this is true is that he's not getting paid for his voice acting career. Like I noticed that he did not really address the pay discrepancies that Helena Taylor put out in her video detailing the Bayonetta 3 controversy. So I actually expected YongYea to have like some kind of insight, like the actual voice actors do, on like how much a voice actor should be paid for like this kind of product and like for this amount of time, like this amount of work put in. Like I was curious like what YongYea would say about this, but he didn't talk about the pay rate at all, which makes me think that like YongYea doesn't actually know how much you can reasonably bring in when it comes to voice acting. Because I imagine when he got to do Poochie in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I imagine he did it for free, for the assumption that it would kick off his real voice acting career and that he would get like more roles eventually. But that's just not going to happen because there's a whole line of people just like him, like auditioning for the same roles, and it's just going to get like more and more difficult to become successful. And like they're just going to keep lowering the bar. Like this is why these roles don't pay very well, is because there are so many people who want to do them. It's just not a viable thing. It's a big reason why actors shouldn't get paid very much, because anyone could go up there and do it, like fundamentally speaking. Like it just, oh, but I was trained. Like anyone can be trained. Like you're not valuable like to this production. I think YongYea is just a grifter who's trying to make a name for himself in an industry that he does not belong in.